Welcome to Game of Roses. I'm Chad Kulchin, and right now I'm going to be talking about episode 9 of Love is Blind season 7 and the bombshell that was dropped at the end of it. So, if you don't want to know what that is, please do not watch this video. There are spoilers in it. So here are those spoilers. Tyler Francis, who is one half of the couple of Tyler and Ashley Adionser, revealed finally in the document, in the actual show, that he has 3 children. Now, these rumors and speculations of not only the children, but money that he potentially owes to the mother of one of these children or 2 of these children. I don't know the exact details of that, but you can Google that. It's everywhere. It's all over Reddit. It's all over TikTok. Those details were starting to come out on social media before this most recent drop of episodes for Love is Blind season 7. Those have come out today on Wednesday. I have imbibed them all. You can find very in-depth coverage of all 3 of those episodes on our Patreon at patreon.com/gameofroses. But the big thing that happens is in episode 9, Ashley and Tyler are sitting down. She is very distraught because she didn't know this information, that he had 3 children prior to coming on this show. And in fact, she says all this stuff about, you've been, telling me every day how much you want to have kids, and that was a big part of our relationship, but you never disclosed this information. And so he's getting a lot of flack online about this. But I wanted to talk about something else that is occurring here, which is the question, does this piece of information fall at the feet of the producers? Do they bear any responsibility in this situation? And I think it's kind of a gray area, honestly. I'm curious to know what you think. Please leave comments below this video if you feel any type of way about it. But ultimately, the show brings these people together, the producers. It sets up this situation where they can fall in love without seeing the other person, and we all know the format. You have to accept a proposal, you go on the honeymoon in whatever tropical location, Mexico in the case of season 7, you go on that honeymoon vacation, you kind of get to know each other a little bit better, you rotate back to, in quotes, the real world, whatever city you're from, which is where we're at now in the season as it's airing. And in that part, you start to meet family, friends, and have these kind of more in-depth conversations about what is the future of your relationship after a potential wedding. And so Tyler never told her, apparently, in the pods that he had 3 children through what he is calling sperm donation, what Ashley called sperm babies in the show. And apparently it's with a woman that he knew or is somehow friends with. And there is some conjecture online about whether or not he's a part of these kids' lives. All that said, do the producers bear any responsibility? Should they have told her before she accepted a proposal? He didn't tell her. But are the producers in any way responsible? If indeed we are to believe what Chris Colin said about why Brittany and Leo were not followed to Mexico, he came out and basically said that they didn't believe that that couple was going to go toward a marriage, and that's what the show is all about, is helping people get in these lasting relationships and find their forever soulmate. If that's what the show is really about, and that's really why they didn't ask Brittany and Leo to come, I personally think it was for liability reasons. If that's the truth, though, shouldn't the producers also then have some responsibility to inform a player like Ashley that the man she is saying yes to marry has 3 children that he has not disclosed? I do think that's important information when you're making a decision like that. Now, granted, she's only said yes to the proposal. She hasn't, gone down to the final episode and said yes at the altar. It is not yet a legal union in the eyes of our beloved United States government. But nonetheless, the question remains, did the producers know about the 3 children? I maintain that they absolutely did. I think there's no way that he could have hidden that information from them. They do background checks, and I think he probably told the producers that even in his initial interviews and stuff. I don't think it's something that a player could hide from producers. Again, I don't know. I don't have any evidence to back this up, but I think the producers probably did know that he had 3 kids. They're watching all of the footage. They know every word that every one of these players says in the pods. So they're aware of the fact that he has withheld this information from Ashley, and I have to assume from every other woman he's talking to in the pods, because it's very possible that any of them could then go back into the women's quarters and have that conversation with Ashley or whoever else he might have been dating at the time. So that information wouldn't have been able to be kept a secret had he told it to anyone. So my assumption is he omitted it from every conversation he had. The producers were aware of that. He proposes to Ashley. The producers do nothing to let her in on this information. And so what then is this show? Is it a complete objective documentary of this experience? We know that's not true because the producers are there asking questions. They make you do ITMs, in the moments where players are direct addressing the camera, talking to a producer who's sitting right next to it to get all the interview footage. In those moments, they're trying to manipulate players to do this or do that, or make them angry or sad, or whatever the case may be. So we know it's not a purely objective docuseries. That is not what Love is Blind is. But how much responsibility do the producers bear to reveal information like this to players before they make these giant decisions and take some kind of huge step forward legally with somebody? Because once they're married on the show, they are legally married. And if they choose to dissolve that marriage, all the legal ramifications that would come into play as a result of that are for real. So do the producers bear responsibility? That's my end question of this. And again, I know Tyler's getting a lot of flack, and I'm not saying he doesn't bear much of the responsibility here for not disclosing this until this kind of late phase of the game. But I think the producers are on the hook here a little bit too. And I'm curious to know if that question, if that conversation becomes a part of this larger unfolding story. Certainly, I can only imagine the producers will take no responsibility. They will not say anything about this, especially when we get to the reunion. I think Nick and Vanessa Lachey will once again be kind of put out front and center as the moralistic voice of the show, and they will admonish Tyler for this, but they themselves will take no responsibility for having played a role in it. And they have to do that, I think. I mean, they don't have to take the responsibility, but like, they are playing a role in it. They too are omitting this information from Ashley, only weeks away from her potentially marrying this guy. So at any rate, I just want to make a quick video. I'm loving this season so far. Please follow us here at Game of Roses on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, and also on Patreon if you want to watch Love is Blind Season 7 with me, with in-depth coverage of every one of the episodes, basically as they come out. I'm just firing them off as quick as I can. If you want to check that out, go to patreon.com/Game of Roses. Thanks for joining us.